Okay, so there are nearly 297,000 people living in Clayton County, right? And practically every single legal interaction they have is documented and, get this, often totally public. But here is the real secret. You absolutely do not need to pay those crazy fees to third-party data brokers to get your hands on this information. There's actually a completely free way to access official court records if you just know where to look. Welcome to this explainer on how to search Clayton County court records online for free. Today, we're completely demystifying the digital infrastructure of the county's court system. Honestly, knowing how to navigate these public records is a massive game changer. It's a skill that's going to save you incredible amounts of time and money, whether you're conducting a background check, researching some property, or just trying to handle your own legal affairs. So, here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with an introduction to the records, give you an overview of the online resources, and walk through a step-by-step guide to accessing them. Then, we'll look at some real search scenarios, cover troubleshooting and FAQs, and finally wrap up with some additional tips and best practices. Let's jump into Section 1, our Introduction to Clayton County Court Records. We'll just kick things off by defining exactly what we're looking at here and why having access to this information is so incredibly valuable in your day-to-day life. Now, right out of the gate, there is a common pitfall that trips up so many researchers: location. You have to make sure you're searching in Clayton County, Georgia, just south of Atlanta, and not Clayton County, Iowa. The source material specifically highlights this because the legal frameworks are night and day. Iowa has this centralized statewide database for its 17,000 rural residents. But Clayton County, Georgia, with nearly 300,000 people, it relies on a completely decentralized system spread out across multiple different courts. As the justice system has moved into the digital age, which is a shift well documented in directories like the Automated Court Management Information Systems Manual, courts have adopted highly specific databases. They're automated, sure, but they're very siloed. Understanding how these silos work is exactly what gives you the insider power to navigate your own stuff efficiently. Moving on to Section 2, let's get an overview of the available online resources. Because the Georgia system is decentralized, Clayton County actually has a pretty robust digital footprint. It's just scattered across different judicial branches. Let's map out exactly where you need to look. The absolute most crucial thing here is knowing which court actually holds your record. It's kind of like a giant puzzle. Superior Court, they handle the heavy hitters: felonies, family law like divorces, and real estate. State court deals with your misdemeanors and traffic violations. Now, if you're looking for evictions or small claims, you're going to want the magistrate court. And finally, the probate court manages estates, wills, and marriage licenses. You just have to match what you're looking for to the correct jurisdiction. Since there's no single master database for the whole county, you're going to rely on a few specific online portals depending on the case. The main workhorse is the county's court case inquiry portal. But for estates, you'll actually hop over to the statewide Georgia probate records site. Dealing with traffic tickets? That's the e-fine system. We've also got Odyssey eFile GA for electronic filings and the e-certification portal when you need official copies. All right, Section 3, our step-by-step guide to accessing records. We know the landscape now, so let's virtually hold your hand and walk exactly through how to extract data from these platforms safely and, of course, for free. Let's say you're hunting for probate and estate records. Remember, these are not in the main county system. First, you'll navigate over to georgiaprobaterecords.com. Step 2, select Estates, and pick Clayton County from the drop-down menu. Step 3, search by last name, and then first name. You have to do it in that exact order, or the system will reject it. And finally, just click the bold case number. Boom. You can view the scanned documents completely for free. For your standard civil and criminal dockets, you'll use the Clayton County Court Case Inquiry System. It's super straightforward. Just search by party name or case number. But here's a really critical detail to remember. Docket entries usually take about 72 hours to post. So if something literally just happened in court this morning, give the system a few days to catch up before you assume the record is missing. Moving right along to Section 4, real search examples and scenarios. To really cement this, let's walk through a couple of realistic scenarios where you might desperately need this info, just to see how it all comes together in practice. Imagine you're a landlord screening a potential new tenant. Evictions are obviously a huge deal. In fact, tools like the Atlanta Region Eviction Tracker parse this exact county data. To vet a prospective tenant, you'd pull up the court case inquiry portal, make sure you're searching the magistrate court dockets, and look for any past dispossessory warrants. That's just the official legal term they use for evictions in Georgia. Or let's say you're doing some genealogy research, or maybe settling a late relative's estate, and you need to find their will. For this, you'd head to the probate portal we talked about earlier. Once the letters testamentary are issued, the last will and testament gets uploaded. You basically just keep an eye on the portal until you see a little red Adobe icon pop up next to the document. That icon is your green light. It means the will is ready and it's free to view and download. Section 5 brings us to troubleshooting and frequently asked questions. Look, technology is never perfect, right? Even the best systems have their quirks. So let's talk about some of the most common roadblocks you might hit. When you're looking up traffic citations in the eFines portal, the system is, frankly, notoriously picky. If your citation number starts with a 0 and nothing is popping up, try dropping the 0 entirely. Sometimes it even demands a trailing letter at the end, like an A. And remember, government wheels can turn pretty slowly. You might have to wait anywhere from 5 to 21 business days before a newly issued ticket even shows up in their system. It's also super important to know what you are absolutely not going to find. Under the Georgia Open Records Act, the public does have a right to access most filings, but highly sensitive documents are exempt. Things like juvenile court proceedings, sealed matters, and protective orders, those are strictly confidential and will never show up in your online search. Also, if you're looking for historical cases filed way back before the digital judicial information system was implemented, you're going to have to make a physical trip down to the courthouse. Section 6, Additional Tips and Best Practices. To wrap up your mastery of all this, let's go over a few advanced tips and tools you should definitely keep in your back pocket. First off, while viewing dockets online is free, there are times you might need a legally authenticated, tamper-proof document for official business. For that, Georgia has the e-certification portal. It's run through the state's cooperative authority, and it's open 24/7. You can request certified copies electronically, pay the statutory fee right there online, and they'll email a secure PDF directly to you. It literally saves you a trip to the courthouse. All right, here are 3 golden rules to live by. 1. Always search using exact legal spellings. These databases take things very literally. 2. If you find yourself totally lost dealing with probate court, take advantage of the free probate pro bono clinic in Annex Building 3. They are there to help. And 3, and this is absolutely crucial, understand that paying a traffic citation online through eFines legally equals a guilty plea. It closes your case and completely waives your right to appear in court, so just be aware of that. Now, before we sign off, I do need to give a quick disclaimer. This explainer is strictly for educational purposes. We aren't providing legal advice here. Laws, digital portals, and access rules can and definitely do change over time, so you should always verify the current accuracy of these systems yourself and absolutely consult a licensed legal professional if you have any specific legal concerns or inquiries. Well, we have covered a ton of ground today. Everything from mapping out decentralized courts to wrangling some pretty picky search engines. Now that you have the insider tools to navigate Clayton County's digital court infrastructure totally free of charge, the only question left is, what public records will you uncover today to save yourself time, money, and empower your legal decisions?